Hey, y'all. Welcome to Eagle Talk. She got a red lip. It is a couple of days from my anniversary, so this is a special edition.
Yes, Eagle Talk's anniversary edition. And y'all, can you believe that officially, like we weren't official for about 11 years, but officially we have been together 16 years as husband and wife. So it's our sweet 16.
Yeah, but we met in 95.
95. But that's not said unofficially. Like you better put some respect. Like for real, this is our 27th year together.
Yes.
But I will be the first to say, for all these people, if you shacking, first of all, the Lord still loves you. I shack too. You know, I got that on out of my system. Side note, that used to be my prayer. Like, Lord, please don't come back until after August 4th, because I don't want the rapture to happen. like I wasn't convicted enough to move out. Right. But I was like, please don't come back until after August 4th, 2006, because
that's funny.
Lord, I want to be right.
Right.
You know, I wasn't trying to be right, but I felt like, anywho, there was no repentance in my heart. So hilarious. With that, y'all, we decided that we are going to talk about the topic, though. We've been married 16 years, but you, my friend, are not the person I married.
No, I am not, and neither are you. Which is amazing, great thing.
Which is a great thing.
It's a growth. We've had a growth experience together.
We have. So in your words, this would be fun. We did not practice this. So let's hope that it don't go left. In your words, how would you describe Rosemary that you married? And be honest. Like, don't just get a good, but like, okay. Don't be mean,
no, I'm not going to be mean. You loving, outgoing, ambitious. A whole lot more attitude, but still, a strong, solid, good person. Okay. You know what I mean? Okay. You had the 79th in you. Mm-hmm.
79 was strong. Yeah, it was strong. Not strong, strong.
From people from Chicago, she had the 79th in her, but it wasn't 35th. Wasn't too hood. So, but no, solid. And to today's date, selfless.
Ah, that's nice, baby. That's nice.
Don't describe me.
Because I would say you did a good job. So the Corey I married.
Yeah.
Okay, so first of all, the Corey I married, I have to say, and I'm honestly not saying this just because you're my husband. I have always been, I met you when I was 15, but like you are 100% my type, right? I've always liked the type, because I wasn't your type. I'm gonna just say that. Like when you met me, I ain't gonna say what you told me, but he wasn't rude, but it was clear that I was outside of the mold of what he was normally dating.
Right.
But he was always like what I hoped for, like tall, light skinned. That's that 79 coming out of me.
ED.
Light eyes, the whole thing. So physically, and even your demeanor, like you always had just a different coolness and swag about you.
Thank you.
But the dude that I married, he was a closed book.
Yes.
Right. And because he was such a closed book, what it was he was guarded, he was protective, and nobody was welcome into that space, not even me. And what I learned was not even him. Like he didn't even really want to go into that closed book, right? So as a result of the way that you were, I took that, I literally remember being like, well, why are you marrying me then? Like you don't even act like you like me. Right. How many times did I tell you, you don't even act like you like me?
Yeah. I don't think it was, well, I know it wasn't that. We both know it wasn't that. It was just the way I viewed the world, right? With just
you viewed the world like everybody was your enemy.
Yeah.
And everybody, like you had to fend for yourself, even against me. And that did not change, in the minute we said I do. It didn't change in year 5 even.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of closed offness. And because you were so closed off and I had my own junk I was dealing with, it really affected my self-esteem, know. And I spent a lot of time in our early married days looking for you to be my God, right? Like my happiness was dependent on you. It was on how you interacted with me, or, you know, whether or not you produce for our family. Just a whole, like, I put all my eggs, I've said that before, I put all my eggs in the Corey basket, which was honestly not fair to you. Right. Because nobody should be dependent. Even now, I love you. I love you like my first cousin, my husband. I love you that much, but you are not the source of my happiness, right? And nor am I the source of yours. So that person that I married fell short because, number one, you just had growing to do, but more importantly, my expectations were unrealistic. So, but guess what? I know y'all like, dang, did it work?
No, but that I totally understood every word you just said.
Yeah. You understood what I said. But we're happy to say that we are not married to the same people anymore. Yeah. But that just didn't change overnight. Yeah. Right? That didn't change overnight. So we have a couple things that we talked about. Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to share with you guys a couple of things that we know has changed in us and for us, and grew us to the place that we are now. And one of the major keys, is healthy community. Yep. We have some, and not that we didn't really have friends in Chicago. I don't know that we had as many healthy relationships.
Let's be honest. We were not a healthy relationship.
Yeah, that's fair.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So what, you know, in that young married in your 20s, we weren't a healthy relationship. We didn't really have a model of what the type of marriage we desired looked like. And we just kind of fell into that, you know, that kind of hood love model. And that's what we attracted. And not to even say that those relationships were not around us, or even people weren't healthy, but we weren't projecting that, so we weren't attracting that. And that caused a lot of drama. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I'm on the phone with somebody complaining about their husband. I'm on the phone with them, they complain about their husband, I'm complaining about mine, and then I'm bringing that energy to Corey when he like, all I did was come home with Subway, like. Right. What?
Yeah. So going back to healthy community, that's been a real big key for us. And the funny part about it is, in our life group when we first started going, I was against that. I was like, I'm about to sit and tell these people all my problems. They ain't telling me theirs. You know, I didn't know them. You're right. So life group for me at our church is life group, right? I don't know, maybe 10 couples. Yeah. And we sit around and we talk life. So it was
12 couples. It's 12 of us.
12 couples. Yeah. Sorry. But at the church, when it got introduced to me, it was a concept I never heard of before. Yeah. So my thinking was, I don't know these men and women, so I'm not about to sit and just tell them, you know, issues and problems, you know, the good and the bad. But I just didn't get it. But now it was a mistake on my part, because it's something that I love.
It's not that it was a mistake, but again, you never seen that before, right? Yeah. Because let's be honest. Is that, and we just had a conversation with a friend the other day, and we were like, look, we're a safe space. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And that's no fluff. We're a safe space. Like, we have been through it, and you know why we are a safe space? Because we have learned what it looks like to truly walk with others. But here's a different one. We know what it looks like to open the veil, right? And for real, let people know what's really going on. Yeah. Right? Not to just say, oh, you know, like how you tell a story. Like, girl, so he this food, and when they spent the money, and and I'm just over it. But you ain't tell about, like, he spent the money, but you are struggling with this addiction. Right. You know what I'm saying? Your junk. So we have had to open up the veil, and what we have found, and it's crazy because I literally was in my quiet time yesterday, and there was a word that said, don't suffer in silence. Right. And so often in marriage, especially, because we don't know how, because we want to close off and we don't know how to seek, be healthy community, get vulnerable, get uncomfortable. We suffer in silence, and it feels like we're all alone.
Yeah. And I think just speaking on the subject, but I'm speaking on us, period. I think I don't know when, but at some point in our life, we was just like, I think that we both had individual thoughts. Not that we really said it, but we were like, if we're gonna do this, we're gonna do it.
We're gonna do it.
Yeah, we're gonna do this.
We're gonna do it because and what happened. And I'm gonna tell you what the breaking point really was, Corey. is that we hit a rough patch at year 10 where, and I just saw this in my quiet time, the lady said, it's Debbie Stewart. She said in her thing, like, God had to break me because I wouldn't bend.
Okay.
Right. So we wouldn't bend. We were so steadfast in just who we were, not allowing other people in or having surface relationships. You know what I'm saying? Like, we act like we walking with them, but we really ain't.
Right.
But then we broke. And I remember when we broke, the Lord put on my heart, like, we were in a really, really, really tough spot. And the Lord put on my heart, like, you need to go talk to Janine. Remember that?
Yeah.
And Janine was somebody who, you know, we couldn't be more polar opposite. Janine's like, if
4'8".
Yeah. Like, if I was about to say, she's at least 20 years my senior. You know, but we both love the Lord, and we had enough rapport with each other that I knew, and she had shared one thing was she was vulnerable with me and shared some things with me about her marriage. So I knew that when we were in this very critical space, that I could say things to her that I would be embarrassed if anybody knew about. I knew that I was embarrassed that you knew it about me, but I couldn't not tell the story, in order to get guidance and prayer. And when I went to her, that just, I mean, it was a weight lifted. It was like, you know what? I don't, and now it's like, there's no shame, like no condemnation from those who are in Christ Jesus. That's what she loved me through that tough time, that helped me see Jesus's love, that helped me see you in a different light. So anyway, y'all,
saying that to say, that's
community.
Yeah, community. For sure.
Like, we are not who we were when we got married because we did not believe in community. Okay, so here's the next thing. Like, we are not who we were. You're not the person that I married before. You're not the person that I married when it comes to vulnerability. Yeah,
I couldn't agree with you more. I think especially as men, that we are just guarded, you know, guarded with each other, guarded with our spouses, guarded with, you know, just people in general. And I think this is another learned behavior for me, because I've always been the type of person where I'm not really gonna say too much.
Yeah.
You know, I don't have to, I ain't gonna over talk and under talk. But now, even with Eagle Talk, I think I've came out of my shell a lot.
Look, some of your friends be like, who is this guy?
Yeah, I get that all the time. Yeah, people that know me 20 years be like, I never thought that you would be. But again, that's being vulnerable. You know, telling my experience, telling my life, the good and the bad. And just truth be told, a lot of people don't like sharing the bad. Yeah. You know, they only want to highlight the good stuff. And that's not how life and good relationships work.
Yeah, that's not either. And with that vulnerability piece, you know, I remember always saying to Corey, like, my classic line from like the first probably a solid 8 years, it might have stretched out to 11, was, I just pray the Lord softens your heart. Your heart is so hard. Yeah. You know, like, your heart is so hard. I would tell him that all the time. But the Lord had to like convict me, like, but are you a safe space? Right. You know what I mean? Like, are you a safe space? And what we, again, had another situation where, you know, something transpired in the marriage and my feelings got hurt. But I had to be honest, and you told me, like, anytime I tell you about my dreams, because this is when you were dreaming and I was not, and you know, we were just in two different spaces in terms of what we wanted and what we desired. And, you know, I thought it was frivolous, but you were really pushing towards abundance. And you shut down. You just stopped talking to me about it. Yeah, it wasn't nothing else to say. Because everything that you said you wanted to do, I barked at it. Yeah. So I have to take responsibility to say, okay, I want him to be vulnerable, and I'm praying for God to soften his heart. But God is praying, you know, God is seeking from my affection towards you to be different and to be more empathetic and welcoming, and to actually be a safe space where you can be vulnerable. Yeah. So what are we saying? We are saying that vulnerability is a key. It's not a hindrance. It's something that will help grow the marriage, in my opinion. Yeah. And I just want to say this, because we have a good friend who I know is an avid Eagle Talk watcher. And he put something on Facebook, like, you know, why do people want to be vulnerable? Because he said, like, by definition, vulnerability means like you're putting yourself in harm, right? Like, if you're vulnerable, you think about if you're vulnerable to attack, you're putting yourself in harm. And why will somebody do that? And here's the thing. I think that vulnerability must exist because it's that trust factor. right? It's that trust factor to know I can be completely naked in front of you, you know, physically, emotionally, spiritually, whatever. And while you do, like, you could harm me, you're a safe space for me. Like, I can't be vulnerable with everybody and in every situation, but with my husband, with my close friend group, with the Lord especially, it's okay to be naked and stripped away, because this is a safe space in order for me to do it. But then I also want to say this, because humans fail us.
Yeah,
you know?
I'm about to say, right. So I'm been really working on self-awareness, right? And when as you're speaking, I'm thinking about vulnerability, and a lot of issues is ego.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's you're in your own way. So if you kind of break that ego down and understand why you're not being vulnerable, it's because you know you feel you too big to be vulnerable.
You too big,
you know?
or you. I've been hurt before. I'm not gonna be hurt again.
Yeah.
And that's when I go back to, you know, the thing of going back to not putting all my eggs in the Corey basket, is that I can be completely vulnerable with you, because I know that if for whatever reason there is a hurt that is caused by you, you know, intentionally or unintentionally,
right, I know what you're saying.
That there is no hurt that heaven can't heal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I can love you fully the way that Christ loves me, and it's not contingent on your behavior.
Yeah.
It's not contingent on how you do that. But I'm just tell you, what I learned too is the better I treat you, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's reciprocal. The better you treat me. Yeah.
So the next one, guys, is we are not the same people because we've learned to fight with each other instead of against each other. Bar. No, for real, because everything used to just be a headbutt.
Everything.
It didn't matter what it was, you know. But now it goes back to
pinning the kid against each other. You want McDonald's or Checkers? Say Checkers. Say Checkers.
Well, it goes back to Darlene and her husband.
Yeah, someone that was James and Darlene. Shout out to James and Darlene. They were in our life group.
Which is, we're on the same team. You know, basically, I'm not your enemy. We're on the same team. So if you understand that, then it'll get you to the place that we're talking about.
Y'all, for the longest. So he's talking about, we were in life group, one of our early meetings when we were just flies on the wall. We weren't, nobody's vulnerable. We just kind of sat there.
Just sitting there.
And one of the husbands says, you know, he and his wife got to the point and they were going at it, and he had to say, wait a minute. I am not your enemy. We're on the same team. And when I tell you, in my mind, it was like, oh, shut up.
Right.
Because y'all, I spent a decade trying to win.
Yeah.
Not for us to win. I needed to win. I needed to be right. Like, Corey needs to understand that everything that I was doing was right. And you know, do I want to be right or righteous? Yeah. Right. So understanding how to fight with each other. And I think that comes down is all the stuff we're talking about, the vulnerability, the being honest, the healthy community. Because when we know that we are both because when we know that we are both going for the same goal, which means we need to have conversations about the purpose of our marriage. That's number one, have some purpose conversations. But when we are clear on why we're doing, what our goal is, what we want our kids to experience, what we want our legacy to entail, then even if the way we get there, we're not agreeing on the how we're getting there, and we have to have some critical conversations, it can now shift from I'm fighting against you to, okay, let me fight with you to figure out what do we need to do to make this make sense for both of us, because I know without a shadow of a doubt that we are on the same team going for the same thing.
Yeah, this is just a deeper level of couples self-discovery, right? Because this is what people just don't know that they don't know. Yeah. You know what I mean? That you've been fighting all of this time or bickering all of this time. But if you understand this one principle, that we're really working together. You know what I mean? And what we're focusing on just don't even matter.
It doesn't matter.
Because if we have a conversation about really what the goal is, then we can move forward, and it gets better and better.
So look, this just happened the other night in our house, right? We got this investment project, a couple things going on. and Corey just casually mentions to me that, you know, we got to stroke a check, right? After we just stroked a check for something else, right?
In my defense, I told her last week.
He mentioned, you know how pray our strength, because this is still the person that I'm married to. Like he the same then and now, where he like, instead of just being like, hey, you know, I lost my job, he'd be like, I heard they're doing layoffs. Like, that's the type of person.
I kind of told you.
Like that's the way that Corey would
That's
say.
hilarious.
And then when I come home early from work one day, like, why you ain't work? I told you they was doing that. Like, no, you didn't tell me that. Like, you are right. Okay. So pray.
By the way, I never have a job.
Never, right. He's self-employed, but I just want to give y'all an example. So he roundabout mentioned, but he wasn't explicit, right? And I am the type of person where, you know, I need information, especially when y'all saw the last episode. If y'all didn't, check out the last episode where we talked about scared money don't make money. You know, I'm getting unscary with my money, but I need information, right? I need to know what to expect, because when I know what to expect, I won't move in another certain way, right? Yeah. And in this situation, we needed to stroke a check, and I had bought some stuff from my business, Rosemary the Realtor, that I really didn't need to at that moment, but I did it, and I wouldn't have if I would have been expecting this other thing. So anyway, we ended up having a conversation for it when he just casually mentioned it. But at the end of the day, we talked it through, and I explained to him where my hesitation and my frustration was at. He explained to me, you know, what he thought. We set some clear boundaries, but at the end of the day, I know the goal, right? He has on his board that our goal is to have 100 rentals. So that's going to come with an investment that we have to do. So I told him, like, I'm not fighting you about the number. I'm fighting about the way it came about, because I would have done things differently, right? Yeah. Or I would have allocated funds in another way that made more sense for me. Yeah. But that, like, a couple years ago, I would have been at my mama's house.
I don't even have been at your mama's house, but you definitely wouldn't have been here. You would have been down the street somewhere.
Right. A couple years ago, I would have been on the phone with B, like, look, this again. But
this is what I'll say to that. And it was a high level conversation. But, you know, we remain, our temperament stayed solid. But I gotta give a praise break for our growth in communication.
Yeah.
Because if we don't know how to communicate with each other in the difficult times, you know, in regular times, but more importantly, the difficult times, then it wouldn't have ended like it ended.
Okay, and I just want to say we definitely not the people we used to be when it comes to, you know, communication, because there was a time that I think for both of us, if we were in crisis, we would not have been the first person that we would have trusted with that. You know,
exactly.
But whatever that crisis was, financial, emotional, whatever, and yeah, that's changed.
All right, so we're gonna hit y'all with the last one.
Okay, y'all. One thing that has changed for us, we are not the same people, because Jesus is actually a part of this marriage now.
Yeah. Every day. Tell about our vows. In Spanish, don't know if he was there. don't know if he was mentioned. Don't know if they mentioned
the Lord.
Yeah, we just don't know, right? So, but no, I mean, we fully now have God the head of our life and our marriage, and that's a focus.
Yeah. And the difference is, you know, first of all, we are grateful because we landed in Texas and landed under a leadership and at a church that actually pours into marriage, right? So that's one thing that I'm gonna say. Like, I've been to some real good churches that I was totally filled, but my heart wasn't changed. And what I love about our church, we attend one community church in Plano, is that the church, as long as we have been there, has been intentional about cultivating healthy community. Mm-hmm. And they have been intentional about giving you tools to develop a healthy relationship. And it's whether or not you use the tools, right? Because the enemy is going to attack, like our marriage, you know, and sometimes I'm gonna say this too. Sometimes the attacks on your marriage are not, you know, he cheated on me or he messed up the money. Like, sometimes the attack is like, yo, mama died. Or y'all relocated and you trying to figure each other out. Mm-hmm. Or now, you know, I was used to my wife being a stay-at-home mom, and now she's moved into a working position, and now we have the dynamics have changed, the stressors of the children, and like now we're parenting an adult, that is a total different season for us in our marriage. And having tools that are going to show us that honestly our marriage is a great way to honor Christ's relationship with the church. Like the church was his bride, and at some point I realized like I have a responsibility more than anything and anybody in the world to model to you what Jesus's love looks like. Right. And I was telling somebody, I was like, look, I don't care how authentic we are on Eagle Talk, what we do on Instagram, because we do really try not to just show our highlight reel, but to just really be authentic. And even our close friend circle, they even get to see more of that, and not just us giving to them, but them giving to us. But ain't none of y'all never seen my wig slid back, but he has. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? None of y'all. I just bust a pimple on his back that was so big.
You sure did.
It was like Dr. Pimp's pimple popper. Yeah. Like, so there are certain levels of transparency that nobody will ever know about Corey but me. I know his greatest weaknesses and I know his greatest triumphs. Right. And just like Jesus loves him through that, baby, I have that responsibility too. And I can't do that without Jesus being in the marriage. Yeah,
and I think that's an excellent point to end on, because it hasn't always been this way.
Has not.
Again, we're work in process. We're learning every day, but more importantly, we fully understand that point.
Yeah, fully understand that point, and we're fully grateful. Yeah. And then as we say that, it's been 16 years, and in this 16 years, I think that there have at least been a time or two that we did not think we were going to make it. Right?
It was or it wasn't?
It was a time or two that we thought we were not going to make it.
So maybe no.
Me didn't think we was going to make some stuff. Yeah. But I want to say that because I know that sometimes we encounter people that, they see our community, they see our chemistry, and they think it's always been that way. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And it has not, it has not. It has been a work in progress, and it's doing the work. It's having the really uncomfortable conversations. It's the ugly cry. It's the inviting people into your mess. It's the celebrating when you don't want to celebrate. It's the, it's the hugging and the embracing when it feels like a chore. And then it does not anymore. You know what I'm saying? It does not. And I'm just grateful. I'm almost more grateful for the tough times than I am for the triumphant times, because without those tough losses in the relationship, I don't think we would have appreciated the victories as much as we get to now.
I definitely agree. Happy Sweet 16, by the way. And hopefully that this sparks more healthy conversations for marriages. That's what it's about. Again, we're not trying to get on here and just air our dirty laundry or just give, information that's not valuable. We're trying to give situations, whether, past or present, or just ways for you to think and communicate with your spouse. Hopefully we did a great job of that today.
And hey, and if you got any value out of this episode, please go ahead and share it, and a 5-star. Like, if you want to give us an anniversary present, right, the best present to give us is a 5-star review. Go and honestly, type something in the reviews that helps us out more than and share Eagle Talk, share. Hashtag Eagle Talk. Join Eagle Talk with Team Lewis. And we can't wait to see y'all after we celebrate this anniversary.
All right, y'all. We'll see y'all on the next one.
Bye.
Peace.